Well, today on Nation, a window cleaners podcast, we are doing the Mythbusters of window cleaning. Don't sue me. But we're talking about all the myths, the things that you probably think, some people think, just the untruths of the business side of window cleaning. So if you're in window cleaning, if thinking about getting into window cleaning, or heck, you just have an odd obsession of listening to random podcasts, stay tuned to WCR Nation. What's up, everybody? Jersey here from windowcleaner.com, and you are here. What is up? Hi, my name's Jersey, and have a look around. We've been doing this now for almost 9 years, 8.5 years, something like that. Long time. So lots of content to go back. There are a very small section, we'll call them the 1%ers, that have listened to every single episode. And to you guys, I don't know what to say. You're absolutely insane. Everybody's been sending this whole Spotify does their wrap-up thing, and you guys have been sending me kind of how many times you've listened and all that stuff. It's fantastic. I just want to say thank you. It is because of you that I get to continue to exist on this planet, so thank you very much. And if you haven't, and it's your first time here, maybe you could go back and listen to them all, but maybe you just might start now. It's okay either way. But what we're talking about today is actually busting kind of the myths of the business side. Now, we've done that before, and like, no, you can't scratch glass with a scraper. Tempered glass is not softer than, like, all these random things that people somehow, for whatever weird reason, believe that are just completely not true. But we're going to do that with the business side. That's kind of my forte as far as what we talk about, is always the business side of things, not necessarily the gear and all that, which I think the window cleaning is not as important as the business side of it. So I think that you guys and gals that are listening to this are more well off than just people who, kind of know how to squeegee. It's just my opinion. Anyway, so that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to just jump right in with that and start with one I couldn't really figure out how to put it in words, but there's so many people out there that think that the reason they're hired is to clean the windows. And you're like, oh, this is starting off really stupid because, yeah, of course, I'm a window cleaner. That's what I get done. But hold on. Hear me out. Window cleaning itself is not that important in the world of what we do. Now, you may think it is because I haven't explained that to you yet, but hear me out. When you look at windows, you go, well, I'm looking at the window. And especially when you're new, there's so many people out there who spend way too much time cleaning glass. They just spend all of their time cleaning, and that they'll take, an hour on a window, and they're like, it just didn't get, because they're focused on that part and they want it to be absolutely insane. But here's the reality of it. People look through windows, not at windows. We, as window cleaners, look at the glass. That's why we see more things than the customer. And if the customer doesn't see things because they look out, it's clean. Like, if you went through it with a magnifying glass, you'd find stuff, right? Right. So it's not about clean windows. It's about everything else. Now, clean windows is obviously the end result, but why didn't they just clean them themselves? Well, when they do it, they can't get good results. There we go. Well, they don't want to spend all weekend doing it. Oh, there we go. Well, they got family coming in town, and there we go. See, if you look at the reason we do what we do, yeah, clean windows is obviously, you call a window cleaner to get clean windows, but that's not what you're selling them, is just clean windows. You're selling them, your family's going to think your house is immaculate. Your mother-in-law is not going to find something to yell at you about. You can go golfing on the weekend instead of cleaning your windows. We are going to leave them streak-free, and you don't have to worry about the stuff that if you did them yourself, you'd have to worry about. That's what we're selling. The real reason, not clean windows, because you could clean the windows, another company could clean the windows, they could clean the windows, they could get one of those weird magnet things and clean the windows. The reason you think they're calling you to clean the windows is because you clean the best clean is clean. If you took 2 windows and goes, is this window clean? Yeah. Is this window clean? Yeah. And then you took a magnifying glass and looked around the edges and everything else, you'd find stuff. It's not about cleaning the windows. It's what the window cleaning gives them. And this is one of the biggest myths, because everything that you do marketing-wise focuses around what you're selling. And there's so many times that people say, well, you're selling an emotion. Every purchase is emotional. And people go, no, it's not. They just want clean windows. No, hold on. What do they want? They want the good feeling that their, mother-in-law thinks that they're a good housekeeper. Whatever. That's what you're selling, right? The reason is because of the blah, 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 blah. It's like, why do you eat kale? Because it's delicious? No, because you think it's healthy for you. It's not that healthy for you, but whatever, right? That's why you're actually eating it, is because of the things that you think it gives you, not because you're hungry because you'd eat anything. Like, the idea of what it is that somebody is buying, or is the reason that they're buying. And all purchases are emotional. Like, they have to think that you're the best. Like, their concerns are met. You're going to take care of their problem. The problem is not dirty windows. It's what the dirty windows bring, right? And so many people just miss that. I mean, we'll talk kind of more on this too, but there's so many times where you see people are like, well, I have such a good business because I clean windows better than anybody else. And if you just do good work, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's just like, are you decent at your job? Yeah. Okay, then you're just going to be the most successful company. What? That's the stupidest thing. There's lots of really good people who are not big, or are not strong, who are not growing, who are not doing all those things. It's not because they're not good window cleaners. That's stupid. Now, if I do crap work, that's different. Then people are like, this window's awful. Well, no, you're not going to, because you didn't clean the window. You got to clean the window. Anyway. One of my favorite ones to talk about on Facebook Pro and all those other things that people want to repeat the exact same things all the time, which is also, by the way, all of our shows, all of my shows on WCR Nation come from people's suggestions. They have for a very, very long time. And even though I have 8 years of content, I've done a show 8 years ago that I'm redoing now, we'll say, and things are different, right? So it's what people need now. And when you look at Facebook groups, you can't be mad that people are asking things without researching, because times have changed and things have changed. It's time to bring it up again. With that being said, there is a very, 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 very common thing that people think, especially when they're new, is that the cheapest companies win. This is the weirdest concept to me, because you see it all the time, and I get this all the time. They're like, well, you're helping people start businesses. Yeah, awesome. Well, that's why they're taking my thing. They come in here with no insurance. They're cheaper than me. Really? If that's the reason they're taking it, then you suck. Like, is it going to happen at some point to a couple customers? Maybe. There's always people. I have a friend that will only buy the cheapest option, and then, it ends up going awry. But that's some people. You can't get around that. But the majority of people, I'm talking 95, 99% of people, that's not the reason. Just because somebody's cheaper than you doesn't mean that they take it. That's a stupid idea, because you're thinking you sell the same thing. Well, yeah, we sell clean windows. You don't. You sell the experience. You sell the comfort. You sell the confidence. You sell the relationship that keeps it then, right? People do not buy the cheapest if they know what it is they're getting. And I always say this example, and I'll say it again for those of you who didn't know, but if I have to sell you something and you have to buy one of them, it's $1, it's $10, or it's $100, which would you pay? I didn't tell you what it is. The only thing I told you was price. So what's the only thing you can go off of? Price. Now, when you look at that, most people, they go, well, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I don't really want the cheapest. That's a lot of people. Great. But a lot of people are like, I don't know what it is. The cheapest. What is it? Price? $1. I'll pay $1. Whatever. It's $1. I'll lose $1. Like, that's the idea. Nobody's like, well, I'll pay the $1,000 or $100, whatever my dumb example was. But when I tell you it's a brand new Lamborghini from the showroom, what would you pay? You'd be like, I'd buy 10 of them at $1,000 or $100 or whatever I said. Right? Because now you know what it is. Now it is not what is the price. It's like, what am I getting for the price? Now, if that example made any sense to you, and you still go back and go, well, yeah, but those other guys, they're cheaper than me, so you didn't even pay attention. They're not selling what you sell. McDonald's has $1 cheeseburger, not really anymore, but you know what I'm saying. When I could go to a nice fancy steakhouse and spend $30 on a cheeseburger. Well, yeah, but you go there and the waiters and they bring you, yes, the experience is different. They sell different things, right? They all make you full, but they sell different things. So you're willing to pay different amounts of money for different things, right? Now, when that all comes down into kind of more specifics and the cheapest and things, people use that as a scapegoat. Well, I got to be cheaper. Or they go in and then they go in, they do advertising. And the advertising part they put out there, they go, well, we're the cheapest in town. Gross. What? Why would you? What is that? Gross. Understand, and this happens a lot. So you guys know I've been friends with Monk SEO forever. I think literally they're the greatest SEO company I've ever personally dealt with, ever. They do amazing, amazing work. With that being said, they're not probably the cheapest out there. In fact, I know they're not, because people always tell me like, oh, I got a guy who's going to do my SEO for $29 a month. What do you think is going to happen for $29 a month? Let's just say $30 an hour is the guy's hourly rate. And he works for an agency, so it's not even that high. Do you think he's putting in a full hour every single month for you? He's not. He's pushing a button, and then you're going to talk maybe in 6 months. When you pay somebody a lot more money, they're an active SEO company, it's completely different. This is one of those things where people go, well, the price for what you get is very different, right? Now, if you think that's at all any of it, they create an ad that goes, well, we're the cheapest. Don't do that. If you do an ad that tells somebody you're the cheapest, they tell you that they're the cheapest work. Well, no one can do the same thing for $29 that somebody for $700 can do. That's fair assumption, right? Well, no, they overprint. No. They're active. They charge more because they're putting more time in. And if you want them to put more time in, you're going to pay them more. And if they do more, you're going to get better results. And that's why that company is so absolutely insanely fantastic. Monk SEO charges more than the Indian guy who randomly cold called you. But he's going to actually get amazing results versus the other guy who's not doing anything. He's just taking some money. Now go back into ads and people go, well, here's an ad. It's the cheapest. Here's a coupon. Here's a this. Here's a that. You didn't tell anybody anything. So the next myth is really ads don't work. It's not ads don't work. Ads absolutely work. Understand that humans in the US, now mind you, if you're in the UK or you're in Australia or wherever, you have also people who have the same mindset. In Australia, there is a psychology of selling that might not be exactly the same as somewhere else, but there's a psychology of selling. Humans are very psychological. There's a lot of things that happen because of a certain thing. Ads are that. It is not that ads don't work, because ads work all the time. They will always work. It's literally why advertising is so big. This is such a stupid comment for people who can be like, well, ads don't. No, your ads don't work. Here's a hard truth. Sorry. By the way, if you want to write me an angry email, feel free. If you want to text me an angry so you can really, really get me an angry text quicker, 862-312-2026. Vent, tell me how stupid I am. But here's the hard truth that people don't want to hear. It's not that ads don't work. It's that your ads don't work. Well, I put my ads out there and we don't get too many because your ad sucks. No, I made it myself. I'm pretty your ad sucks. understand there's a psychology of selling. That's 1,000 billion trillion times correct. What did your ad do? What did it do? Did you create a sense of urgency that people actually wanted to buy? Did you put a buying trigger? Did you submit to their psychology of colors? Did you put a message that's direct? Were you talking to masses or single? What was the ad? Like, the idea of ads don't work. Nobody. That's like saying, man, I tried to run the Boston Marathon, but I didn't win. So, that's because my shoes don't work. No, it's because you suck. Like, put your shoes on the Kenyan guy that won and he's still going to win, right? People take that and they blame other people. They didn't do the ad right. They never did split testing. They didn't do anything to kind of create that. Ads create intrigue. An ad should stop you, so you look at it. What was that stop? Right? We call it doom scrolling, but what gets them to stop scrolling? I know not all your ads are through scrolling. You know what I'm saying? What got them to stop? What got them to look? What got them interested? For those people out there who build ads and they go, well, I put every service I had, I would give you a call right now. You didn't tell anybody. There's no intrigue. You just told somebody, buy my thing right now. If I did that and I spent $1 million and I just said, buy my thing, I would get nothing. Maybe a couple people would be like, okay, I got to see what this is. There was no intrigue. There was no anything. But then you go, oh, yeah, no. I mean, ads don't work in my area, or Facebook ads don't work, or EDDM just does not work. Yours doesn't work, right? So the biggest myth I think that's hurting people is that they think that somehow the ads they did, it's not that they did them, it's that the ad doesn't work. It's the weirdest thing. This is the same psychology as waterfed. If you look at all these trolls that are out on Facebook and they're like, waterfed doesn't work. It's winter, right? You see I'm dressed warmer here. The colder it is, the more bored window cleaners get, and the more you get these trolls. And there's a lot of really bad ones. There's really good ones, and there's guys that want to start something that can't. And then there's the jellies of the world, or whatever that guy's name is, who's just a troll who's very active as a troll, and he loves to say things that he knows people are going to get commented on. It's the same thing when it comes to waterfed. People go, yeah, waterfed doesn't work. We get it, maybe once or twice a year when somebody calls and they're like, hey, I just bought a system yesterday and it doesn't work. No, it's just you. Nope, doesn't work. I've been cleaning windows for... You've never once used this tool and you thought that because you did something else that you could just do this? Like, just practice it. No, it doesn't work. No, you don't understand it, right? People are so into it doesn't work, and instead of being like, no, it's me. It's me, right? I don't know any of you that have been married 5 times, but people who are out there getting married 5 times are like, there's just no good people out there. No, I think it's you. Like, you've tried and gone through these huge steps 5 times, and the common denominator is you. Maybe you look at you, but people are like, no, I don't think so. I was the best, right? Everybody's got a... sister-in-law or something that's just, man, everybody's not good enough, right? Anyway, let me jump off real quick and go into shameless plug, because you know what? The shameless plug eventually works, and I like to make money to exist. By the way, I can continue buying my free apparel. I'm wearing a Zero Carhartt, by the way. This is amazing, by the way. Some of the swag that comes out for the Zero stuff. I'm not a huge fan of like all the cheapest stuff. Like, I don't wear tank tops. Actually, some of the hoodies are actually pretty good, but there's like the basic ones, right? I like the better stuff. We're starting to carry more like Carhartts. I have 2 Carhartts now, a full zip and a vest, and they're amazing. Anyway, and I would love for you to buy one, including any other stuff. So if I could be your rep, I am begging you to be your rep, which sounds, cheap, but I am, because I want to put your orders in. It costs you nothing extra. So literally, it's just a little time effort for you to text me and be like, yo, it's in my cart. And I get credit for that, and it means the world. Literally, it means the world. I exist and continue to do this. So thank you to everybody who lets me do that. But my number, I'll give it to you right now. So pull out your phone, save it under Jersey. I'm the only Jersey you know, right? Jersey. And then next time you just search Jersey and you can text me. Or text me now and be like, I'm saving my number. I get that every time I do a show. The next day or that Friday, a bunch of people just text me and they're like, I'm just making sure your number's saved. It's awesome. It's freaking awesome. My number, 862-312-2026 is my number. Also, if you haven't yet, go to the awcmag.com. That's the American Window Cleaner magazine. I own the magazine also. It is absolutely amazing. I think you're going to love it. It comes with a sticker sheet every single month. And there's a lot of you that don't have the magazine yet. Just saying. Go get a subscription. It's $69. It's the price of a cup of coffee for a while. Actually, it's like a Starbucks coffee for 10 days. Anyway, whatever. Get a subscription. Be awesome. Support the industry. Support me. And you really like it. Also, CRMs are really big this time of year when everybody's planning things. Jobber's absolutely amazing. I talk about it all the time. I still am going to do a demoed video for that, going through everything. But I have a code. I started working with Jobber like 8 months ago, maybe. Up until that point, I did not ever talk about CRMs because they all sucked. The new version of Jobber is insanely awesome. The code is down in the description of all the shows, no matter where you're finding it. And it's 20% off, free demos. Like, it's huge. Anyway, go check that out. And I get credit for that, I'm pretty sure. I just really like Jobber, so I don't care about getting the credit of it. I just care about people finding a CRM that's awesome. So anyway, go do that. Back to it. Another one that I love when people say this is they go, well, my customers are different. I hear that probably once a month at least, where somebody's like, well, my customers are, they're different than the rest of the country. I do only luxury places. And that is the dumbest statement I've ever heard, but I can't tell you it's dumb. But if you've told me my customers are different, just know in my head, I thought, well, that's dumb, because it's not. They're a human in the same country that other humans in the country are. And guess what? We have 144,000 customers. Now, not all of them are window cleaners that are still even in business. But we'll say there's 75,000 window cleaners in the US, and you think that you somehow tapped into some kind of weird magical customer that is way different than any of the other 330 million people in the United States. Just think of that and how stupid that is. Just think of how pompous it is that your customers are that different. Why would that possibly be? Now, if you have a customer, and say you're in Beverly Hills, and you have a customer who, a house just came up in my town that we drive past that I found interesting. It was $14 million, which, by the way, $14 million house is a $78,000 a month payment. I think Steve-O lives in a $14 million house. Anyway, that's insane. Somebody who lives in that house obviously has different priorities from somebody who lives in a trailer, right? They just need something done. They do whatever. They blah, 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 blah. But that customer is not different. They're still interested in intrigue. There's still a reason that they bought from you. There is still something that they are looking for. It is still the demographic. Now, if you're in the middle of Missouri or Kansas, nothing, and there's, one person every 10.3 miles on average, there's a different mindset than anyone else. But it is not a different customer. They still need intrigue in an ad. They still need something to stop looking at everything else. They still need all of those things, including the experience or the reason to choose you over somebody else. 10 window cleaners all clean windows, but some of them are better than others. Your customers are not different. The same things work in the psychology side. It just changes in what that psychology is. But the customer is the exact same, no matter what. If you are we'll say women, because that's our target demographic to who we sell to, if you are a woman who is 35, anywhere in the country, your concepts, like what intrigues you, what triggers you, what allows you to buy or be comfortable with a purchase is the exact same. If somebody comes to you and you're just awful to them, and they're like, I'd like windows, and you're like, yeah, I bet you would. Whoa, what time will you show up? I don't know. We usually make morning. I don't know. Depends what time we wake up, am I right? Is there anybody anywhere that would do that? No, because they don't feel comfortable. You still have to make every person feel comfortable. You still have to have buying triggers. You still have to have a reason for them to buy. You still have to have certain guarantees and things to make them feel comfortable to give you the shot in the first place. You still have to build somewhat of a relationship or be likable in order for them to use you again. You still need to do the dentist close on every single stinking customer you have. That works with everybody. Your customers are not different. Don't use that as your excuse. It's just a dumb excuse. And one of my favorite ones to kind of wrap this up is the customer is always right. Let me start by saying, I already told you, we have about 140, maybe it's 148, whatever, 140,000 customers. I would love to say that all of them are awesome. But there are people who will, we got a 1-star review because a customer bought a channel, an 18-inch channel, and found out that we are skimping on the sizes. And he actually got a 17.5-inch channel. Because we're saving all this money by cutting channels, which we don't do. They come that way. And we take a 1/2 inch off every one so that we can make more money. When in fact, that guy or gal is an idiot. And every 18-inch channel on the planet is 17.5 inches. Because the rubber is 18 inches. You can't have the rubber be shorter than the channel, so the channel's always shorter. Those people exist. If you tell me, well, the customer's right. No, they're not. And this comes into window cleaning. Absolutely a real life fact that your customers are not always right. They're just not. Sometimes, most times, the customer needs you, the expert, the guy who's making $125 an hour, to tell them what they need to know. This is the craziest thing, is that some people, especially new, and they go, oh, I'm new. Yeah, but if you're listening to this podcast, guess what? You are smarter than every customer you have in regards to window cleaning, because now you know more than them. Now, I'm not saying that they're dumb in window cleaning or whatever, but now you're the expert. If you paid anybody $125 an hour to do something, you would demand them to be an expert in what they do. But when it comes to us, we're like, well, I don't know. The customer would tell me. No, they won't. That's not what they want. The customer is not hiring a professional making $100 an hour to do a service to be like, I don't know, maybe you should have it. Like, you're the one that runs it. You tell them what is going on with the glass. If there's issues, you tell them what is going to be able to be done or not be done. And then you're the one that's going to be telling them how often to get their windows cleaned. I'm a huge proponent of the dentist close. Yes, I made up the name and the whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I guess I'm partial. But the idea that you have every single customer in at 6 months, the dentist close just makes your brain wrap around like, oh, like I go to the dentist has me back every 6 months. Why do I need that? Well, because the dentist tells you need that. But then when it comes to window cleaning, you're like, well, the customer will tell me when they're dirty. No, every 6 months. Every 6 months keeps them from being dirty, keeps them from being damaged, keeps them looking great. And you know what? If you want it every month, I absolutely think that's a great idea. I suggest every 6 months. Well, I mean, the dentist, the dentist association says that every 6. Who is in the dentist association? Those are dentists. Like, understand, dentists tell you to go there every 6 months, and you're like, okay. Like, if a doctor says, hey, you should start doing this, you go, okay. Well, he's a doctor. Yeah, no kidding. You're the professional. Your customer is not always right. You're right. And the customer wants you to give them your expertise sometimes. You dictate the way the call goes, you dictate the way that the service goes, how their scheduling is, their reschedules. They want that in your hands. In fact, they're paying you for that. Remember, we go back to the fact that I said the first thing is that they'll always buy the cheapest. Well, if they buy the cheapest, they're not getting any of that. If I buy a guy and I'm paying this guy $125 an hour, he better do everything and then tell me everything I need. Like, you hire an HVAC guy who goes, oh, you need to get your furnace filters cleaned every 3 months. If this weather and this type, you got to get those. Like, well, yeah, he knows better than me. Yeah, you know better than your customers because that's what you do. You do window cleaning. This is your world. You're listening to a podcast about window cleaning right now. Your customer is not always right. Now, going into something and like just a bonus one, if your customer is awful and they're ignorant and they just make your life a living, you know what? You can drop them. You do not need every customer. In fact, it's one of the most refreshing things to take somebody who gives you a lot of headaches in your life and be like, you know what? Unfortunately, I think this just isn't working out with us. You know, I appreciate everything you've done for us, but yeah, we're gonna have to kind of part ways from here. That's great. But on the other side is the customer wants you, the professional, to run the show. No one has ever gone to an HVAC guy or a dentist and been like, no. You don't have to tell me I know this and I know that, and I know more than you. Nobody does that, ever, in any other industry. But then when it comes to yours, somehow everybody goes, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I've only been a window cleaner for 3 months. Guess what? That's more windows than any of your customers have ever done in their lifetime. You are the professional. Understand that. You dictate the knowledge and the conversation and the process and the everything. It's you. That myth right there will change your entire company. If you can change the mindset on that, you are the professional. You are the person that a customer comes to tell them what it is, to what it was, to what gets done, to how to do it. You're the one. I'm hiring a professional so this gets done. I would have done it myself, but I leave streaks. Great. I'll do that. You're the professional. Get that into your head. Also get into your head that you shouldn't be buying your own supplies ever. Don't go through the website. Don't do that. Go through me. All you have to do, instead of going to checkout and going through all that process, just instead of doing that, click save this cart. You text me, be like, yo, Jersey, it's in my cart. And guess what? I can see it. I'll pull it up. I make sure that the fitment's there. If you have questions on the cart, I can add anything. I can take away anything. I can get your free gift, which most of you are not doing. I can do all of that. And it costs you not 1 penny extra. Not 1 penny extra. In fact, if you do it on the website, it's probably going to cost you more if you did it on the website than through me, because you're not going to get your free gift. You'd probably forget. Or you do something and, it's just not there. Do it through me. Shameless plug, I know. But guess what? I would like to continue to exist. So please do that. My number is 862-312-2026. I'm a real person too. I'm not an AI. So, you can tell me anything and ask me anything, and I'm going to help you. I talk to hundreds of window cleaners a week. Like, realistically, and that's been over the last 10 years of working for WCR. Like, that's a very long time and a lot of window cleaners. So, anyway, do that. Also, go get a subscription to the American Window Cleaner Magazine, awcmag.com. Also, if you want to buy a subscription for somebody as like a gift, we can do that. Let us know. You're like, dude, I love this window cleaner. He's so awesome. I want to buy him a subscription as a gift, like a Christmas present. Do that. Actually, tell me. We have a lot of people's information. All you have to do is find out their address. And that's it. If you're like, well, I can't find their address, just know, what is their company called? Find their company. Pull it up. You may have that. Anyway, let me know on that. Also, if you haven't yet gotten a CRM and you're thinking about doing that this winter, if you really, really, really want to blow your company up, CRM's the way to do it, because it runs everything in your company. Follow-ups, insane. The amount of information you know to go forward. If you know how a job, well, at this job, I'm actually making $55 an hour. How did I never notice that? Because you didn't know the numbers. Get a good CRM. The best CRM on the planet's Jobber, in my opinion. Who cares about my opinion? Go do demos anyway. They all do demos, including Jobber, through the link in the show notes or whatever. That link will also give you a free demo if you want. And they'll go through every company, no matter who it is. We'll go through that with you and show you what their software does. So go do that. Also, more importantly, like everything that I'm doing. Follow us on YouTube. I have my own channel on YouTube also. Anyway, whatever. Show's done. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully, you go out there and change the ideas, the myths. Know that they're myths. Change your ideas. Change your doing in the company. But more importantly, go out there and be epic.